Yes, we are live. Woohoo! Welcome everybody to Bot 10 Art. My name is Lazaro Gomez, and you're tuned in to the Friday night live stream. That was the quick intro. All right, let's get things started. Setting things up. Yes. Gotta pop out the chat. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Ooh, that's new. Interesting. Alright. That is new. New stuff, new stuff. Welcome everybody to Bot 10 Art. My name is Lazaro Gomez, and this is the Friday night live stream. Intro número dos. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. I stopped recording with the webcam because there's still a couple of things that I have to work out. I did notice that the last two videos there was a lot of lagging going on. And so I decided to switch back to my phone, which tends to be working nicely. If we have any issues with that, then I guess we'll figure that out. But yes, man, what a week. I had a few things that were kind of driving me insane. So for one, my 3D printer for some reason decided to go all crazy. And I guess the last time I did maintenance on my 3D printer, there might have been some residual PLA in the extruder, and when I put it all back together and started printing stuff, I noticed that PLA was just oozing out of the extruder. It was just oozing out of the extruder and actually onto what I was 3D printing. So I have a pretty big print job to do, and I really can't afford to break down the 3D printer, but I kind of had to, and I broke it all down, fixed it to the best of my ability, and continued printing, but that was not enough. So the moral of the story is, if you have a 3D printer and you see weird things happening, no matter what, no matter what is going on, take it back a step. Take the time to pull everything apart, clean everything properly, then put everything back together again, and you can continue printing. And it'll save you time, it'll save you a headache, it'll save you PLA, and everybody will be happy. So that was happening. I was having a little bit of difficulty with my pop commission, and I was so frustrated, and you know, I wanted to get it all done and I wanted to move forward, but no matter what, you kind of have to bite the bullet and go back to square one. So I learned my lesson this week. I'm certainly not looking for any kind of sympathy points or anything like that, but I'm just passing that along to all of you. Don't force the square peg in the round hole, because it'll turn out bad. All right, starting out tonight, I got everything sorted. Chat's open if you guys want to have any kind of discussions or anything like that, but I kind of want to stay in the same vein of Inktober, and something interesting came up, and it may have happened before, but me being that last year was the first Inktober I do, and this being the second one, I found something, and I don't know if it happens all the time, but I do follow Jake on Twitter, and he released the prompt list. And I was actually kind of surprised, and I said, oh, well, this is pretty cool. Let me go to inktober.com or jakeparker.com and see if the list is up there, and it was not. So, so I don't know if that's a preliminary list or that is the list and he's gonna move it over there October 1st, or the list may change. I have no idea. But I did want to talk about the prompts, and I did want to talk about a little bit more about the challenge. Uh, if you were here last week, you saw me do a test run and just kind of testing how I want to do things. Um, I thought I was set on a size of paper that I wanted to use, but then just looking at the prompt list and the idea that I had for this year's Inktober, I changed it to a different size. So now we're going a little bit smaller, but I think it makes more sense. And there was a few things. There was a few things that happened last year that I wanted to change this year, and I'm gonna do it no matter what. But last year I wanted to do one video for every day and post it here on YouTube, but it didn't work out, and it ended up being on Instagram and my website, and it was okay. I was happy with that, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I felt like I kind of failed at what I wanted to do, and the reason why I say that is because the art challenge within itself is, it's basically to learn something and take 30 or 31 days to practice it, and by the end you could pretty much master whatever it is. And I talked a little bit about that in the previous live stream, but that was one of the things for me. Last year I'm like, well, I'll do a video every day and I'll post it on YouTube and it'll be awesome, and it didn't quite work out. And so this year I moved my schedule around. I put some commissions to November, December, January, February, March of next year, so that I have space to do Inktober. So this year I will have one video for every day during the month of October to celebrate Inktober. It is a lot to take on, but certain things have worked in my favor, and Jake releasing the list on Twitter a month early helps me a lot. And now I have a game plan. I know what I want to do. There was also last year a YouTuber that I follow, and perhaps you do as well, but her name is Casey Golden, and she did this really cool like story that had all the prompts in it, and I was really, really inspired by that, and I thought it was such a cool idea that it was more along the lines of what I wanted to do last year. But she beat me to it. And she beat me to it, and she beat me to it in a great way, because I had such a good time watching those videos and seeing them come up once a day, and it was this really cool story, and I suggest that you go check it out. It's still on her YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to her channel, to that particular series, in the description of this video below, so that you guys can check that out, or kind of see what she did. But I drew inspiration from that, and based on the prompt list that went out, hopefully it doesn't change. I was able to write up a story. I broke down the 4 weeks into chapters. So I have, the first week is chapter 1, and then, so on and so forth. So right now I have completed up to the 3rd chapter, and I'm still writing that story, and I wanted to kind of flow with all of the art pieces. And once we flip over the camera, I need to prepare 3 more papers for the art challenge, and then we'll kind of go over a little bit. I don't want to give too much away, but I am going to follow suit in what she did, and I have a little story that I'm working on that I am going to present to you through Inktober, and hopefully it all works out. Hopefully it all works out. So yeah, we have that. And then I started thinking about everything. I have a method. I have a way of of uploading everything. Most of the thumbnails for the videos are done, which I'm happy about that. I have a opening slate for the video, a closing slate for the video. It'll have a voiceover, which I'm gonna have to do, and then I have enough time to probably do the first 2 weeks, 2 weeks worth of videos, and then I could upload one at a time. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm hoping I can do that, but basically what the challenge means to me is not so much to get better at inking, because I do a lot of inking, and it's not so much working with washes and all of that stuff, because I work in watercolor. So I'm kind of in my element, but I'm kind of taking charge with what Jake Parker put out for the challenge, and basically I'm I'm challenging myself to do these videos on my YouTube channel. So that's that's what I have set out for myself. Now I know that last year, just kind of going through a lot of videos and going through a lot of articles online and just different websites, I did notice that a lot of people were kind of upset with this challenge, and at the time I didn't understand it. I mean, I did and I didn't. I know where those people were coming from, but at the same time I was kind of frustrated because they didn't really grasp what the challenge is. So a lot of people were saying that it was difficult, and there's no way that one person can draw 31 pieces every, a whole month, one piece a day. So again, like I mentioned in my other live stream, he handled it very well. He basically said you don't have to. And some people were saying, well, I don't have microns. You don't have to use microns. And oh well, some people used a pencil and then they inked on top of that. That's not really Inktober. He said that was okay. A lot of, and just so on and so forth, and so many excuses and so many different things, and all of those people, I feel like they missed the point. If you're gonna do something for 30 days, it's about commitment. It's about a challenge. It's about execution. It's about meeting deadlines. And there's a lot of things that if you're an artist or a freelancer or a graphic artist or anything like that, you will learn right away that there's a lot of things in this challenge that pertain to those sort of things. I mean, you're gonna have someone telling you what to draw and what not to draw, when is it due, all of these parameters. So I think that's kind of, the idea that he had. It's like, okay, this is about training, this is about getting better. And for me, last year, it was a blast. It was so much fun creating these things and like really, putting my mind through the paces. It's like the prompt would be like Swift, and you have to like, what the heck do I draw? What's Swift? Rabbits are Swift. The Flash is Swift. Or someone can throw something swiftly across the air, and those are the kind of things that are cool about the challenge. So for me, what I took away from it was, number one, improve something, improve a skill, or a technique, or whatever the case may be. It could be time management. Maybe you're terrible at time management, and someone asks you to do something and it takes you forever, or it doesn't get done. And that's kind of the idea. That's kind of the what it is that you're trying to kind of get across. So yeah, for me it was a whole lot of fun coming up with these ideas and all of this stuff, and just the whole process of Inktober. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Have fun with this challenge. So if you are coming along with me and you decided that you want to do this challenge, just keep that in mind. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's gonna be okay. And you know just be creative and have fun with it and see what comes out. Just see what comes out. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be bad. Are people gonna like it? Are people gonna hate it? Yes, all of those things exist. But at the end of the day, this is more about you. This is more about developing your skills as an artist, and it's about you uh, moving forward. So, hey, how's it going? I just noticed you popped into the chat. So, oh, you're Sophie's friend. Cool. Awesome. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, so if you're new here, then this is kind of what we do. Every Friday night, we hang out, a lot of different artists and musicians and DIY people and makers and all kinds of stuff. We kind of hang out and we see what we're all working on each other. So it's a nice, tight-knit community, and you're welcome to join us. And I believe you subscribe to the channel, so thank you for that. Thank you very much. But tonight we're talking about the prompts. So I have the prompts here, and if anybody is not familiar with how this works, let's see. Okay, so if you guys are not familiar with the way Inktober works, basically every single year for the month of October, Jake Parker, the inventor of or the creator of Inktober, will put out a list of prompts. So these are basically words that you can work off of. So the very first one is poisonous. So we have, you have 31 prompts. You have poisonous, tranquil, roasted, spell, chicken. Chicken was the one that really got me. I was like, what? There's a chicken? Yes. This is going to be great. I love, I love chickens. But yeah, chicken, drilling, exhausted, star, precious, which I don't know, maybe you can draw, Precious from, it'll be Golem from Lord of the Rings or something like that. I don't know. You have flowing. You also have cruel, whale, guarded, clock, weak, angular, swollen, bottle, scorched, breakable. Like, what? what am I going to do with breakable? Draw, I don't know, a mirror, maybe? I don't know, maybe go with the whole, like, Bloody Mary type thing? I don't know. But there's drain, expensive, muddy, chop, prickly, stretch, thunder, gift, double, jolt, and slice. So that's the entire list for Inktober. And I was going through it, and I had all these ideas, and I don't know, I was like, okay, well, last year I did one piece for every prompt, and they were all different, and it didn't really it was great. I liked all the pieces that I created, but at the same time there was no synergy. There was no theme, and that was one of the things I wanted to do. It's like, okay, I want to make YouTube videos for Inktober. I want there to be some kind of theme. Maybe it's a character, maybe it's a prompt, a prop or something that will kind of tie it all in. But the thing is that the prompts are so they're all over the place. They don't follow any pattern and things like that. And I believe that's what Jake intended. He doesn't want anything. He doesn't want any like preconceived notions into what Inktober can be. So he put it out there for all the artists like myself to get those creative juices flowing and figure out what it is exactly that you want to do. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I got this little story, and basically it has a character, which is that particular character is consistent throughout the whole story. So there's my theme. It deals with I don't want to give it away. All right, so so basically this particular character exists in a world, and he gets, I guess, transported to somewhere else, and the story goes along, and at the end you get a little plot twist, and that's it. But it does deal with all of the prompts that have been provided to us. Now, like I said, I hope that on October 1st, when I go and check Jake Parker's website again, that this list still remains the same. So I'm hoping that that's the case. But just to kind of show you a little bit, I have already started my sketches so that when it comes time to do the videos, they just flow nicely. So that's the first one. That's poisonous, and you know, once I flip the camera, you'll get a better view of that. And then that's tranquil. So there's my little character, and he's just kind of laying on the ground and stuff like that. So I think that this size will work perfect for what I want to do. It'll have a story, and of course I'll be doing all the voiceovers, basically narrating the video, and hopefully there'll be some sound effects and stuff like that. It all depends on how much time I have, but I'm really putting forth my best effort, and I hope that this turns out really, really well, and it gives you guys something really cool to look at. But there you have it. That was the big explanation for Inktober and stuff like that. So yeah, I have my prompts. Like I said, I already have thumbnails for everything I have drawn. This weekend, I'm going to continue drawing or continue sketching out all the pieces that I need. So then that way each video starts out with a sketch and we ink from there. So I know that a lot of people ask me what kind of materials I'll be using, and I can show you that. Yeah, hang on just one second. I knew I had it here somewhere. And this. Okay, so basically what I do is I use Black India ink. And you can find this pretty much anywhere. Michael's, I don't know if Walmart has it, but you can go to Hobby Lobby, you can go to Michael's, Joann Fabrics, any art store will have this. There's also Bleak. Here we have Sam Flax in Orlando, and there's a few other places that you can get India ink, but basically I use this that I put in a smaller bottle, and then of course I could water that down to do all of my washes, to do all my gradients and stuff like that, because you're only dealing with one color when it comes to Inktober. Now, of course, that's not set in stone. That's not an actual rule. You could use all kinds of different inks if you wanted to use, I don't know, ink pens, different color ink pens and stuff like that. I've seen that. I've seen where people use highlighters and stuff. But for me, for this particular style, for the look that I'm going for, I'm sticking to that. So that's one of the tools I use. I also use my Pentel water brush that has a little reservoir, and this is what I use to do some of the washes. I also have a round number 6 and a round 2, I believe, but it's a smaller, or sorry, a fine liner, and I do the details with that. I also use my pencil and my microns. So I have a set of microns. These are, it'll probably cost you about 20 bucks to get the whole set. Also at any art store. So those will be my weapons of choice during Inktober. And if you have any questions about any of that sort of stuff, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll reply to you as quickly as possible. So I'm going to flip the camera. We have 3 of these to get ready. And then after that, I will show off some of the pieces. Yeah, I'll show off some, depending on the time. So let's get started. Let's get started. Here we go. All right. Cool. So these are the paper I'm using is Canson XL watercolor paper, and right here in the corner it'll tell you the weight. It's 140 pounds or 300 grams. So what that means is that's the actual like thickness of the paper. So it's a fairly thick paper, and it is 11 inches tall by 15 inches wide. So out of one sheet, I will get 4 of these. And that's what we're going to do tonight. My trusty ruler. I hope you guys had a wonderful week. Like I said, mine was a bit challenging, but it's starting to get back to normal, and I'm happy about that. It's so frustrating when things don't go your way. It's wild. Alright, here we go. So I am doing 7.5 inches from one of the edges, and that will give me the halfway mark on the paper. Yep, that's right. I had to like think about it for a minute. Always measure twice, cut once. Alright, there you go. I tend to use X-Acto knives just like this one. If you don't have one of these, you could always use one of those, or you could draw a line and then use a pair of scissors. So this is pretty thick paper, and I tend to use my larger Husky knife to cut through it. Think about your safety. Of course, you know, you want to watch your fingers and all that good stuff. So if you need any help or assistance with that, make sure you ask your parents or a friend or somebody who is a lot more skilled with this than you may be. Oh, thank you for the like. That is awesome. Okay, so we cut that down. That was 7.5. So now here we have 11. That'll put us at 5.5. All right. Who's doing the challenge? Or if you're doing the challenge, either put it in the chat or leave a comment on the video. There's different ways to do it. I know that there's people that do they'll do all 31. Oh, thank you for the like. I know people that will start with one piece of paper and then each day add different things to the paper till they have a completed piece. That's one way to do it, and I think that's pretty cool. That's the way Jake did it last year. There's also people that do all 31 in one video. You know, they choose one day and then do all of it in one video or one go. I've seen people do that. They do 31 objects or 31 pumpkins or whatever the case may be. Or they just go one by one, step by step, piece by piece. I've seen that. But that's usually the way most people do it. There we go. 5.5. One of the challenges for me. Better late than never. Yeah, you could always watch it. That's something that comes up quite often. I know that a lot of people they apologize if they missed the live stream, and that's really, really nice of them, and I truly appreciate it. But I mean, the cool thing is they're on YouTube, and if you miss a day or two, you could always go back and watch it. But I do appreciate you guys being here live. So yeah, tonight what we're doing is we're getting paper ready for Inktober. Inktober. We're kind of staying in the same vein. Just for this week, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover as far as Inktober goes before the challenge. There'll be other videos like recaps and stuff like that, but so I'm basically cutting down these 11 by 15s to make smaller sheets, and then we'll go over some of the artwork that I have ready for Inktober. What are you doing? Nothing. Alright, again I find my 5.5 mark and cut it right down in the middle. So if you're gonna use this paper, it's really cool. You saw me do this test piece last week on that same paper. So the only difference is that I changed the format, or I changed the size to be smaller than what we did last week. But that's what we did last week there. All right. So yeah, this particular size works well because the bigger the piece, the more, the bigger the piece, the more area you have to cover, and you get slight variations in the ink, so you have to like go over it over again. And not that I can't do it, but this is a lot more manageable for what I want to do. And then also there is a size difference, and I could kind of show you that, because what I was thinking is if I'm recording at this size, here you see the entire image, but if you really wanted to get into the details of the piece, you start losing what that is. And then of course if I'm here, that's okay, but I'm actually staring at the screen of the camera this way. But when I'm doing a piece, I'm actually looking down on the piece, and I could be down here doing something, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't look good. So if I zoom out a little bit, you start if you zoom out a little bit, you start losing the detail, and you won't really see all the all the lines that I'm doing, or maybe the washes and all of the detail that I put into the piece. And when I'm doing these, I want I want you guys to see everything. I don't want to cheat you out of something. So as you can see, this size is not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me. So I cut it down. To size, and if we zoom out just a little bit, then we have, you could still see the detail of the piece. I know I'm kind of driving you crazy, sorry. But as you can see at this level, you could see the entire piece. So if I'm drawing down here, I'm not off camera or up here or anything like that. And you can still see the detail. Like for instance, with the first piece that I sketched out, before I show that, this is just a piece I was doing practicing, and you could see that even at this level you could still capture all the detail and stuff like that, and we're not dealing with a giant piece. And if I was to zoom into this, it's a lot better. So so yeah, we're going with a smaller piece of paper. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining. All right, so yeah, that's the idea. We're gonna go with a smaller paper. And then another thing for me is, oh, how did the championship go, by the way? Did the US won? Did they win? And Of course, the zooming in and out in the live stream, those are the live controls. When I'm doing the videos, I have a lot more control over it. So I can tighten into this right here and still be fine. But one of the things that happens to me is I know that a lot of artists during Inktober, they'll tape their paper down and kind of paint everything they need to paint this way, and then this piece of paper or the image stays static. That does not work for me. I've tried to do it a lot, and I struggle with some paintings on canvas and stuff like that because it just stays in one orientation. Ah, yes. Nice. So if you're wondering what we're talking about, it's in the chat. It's basically the championships for Overwatch. 4-0, man. They creamed them. So yeah, going back to this, yeah, this is not gonna work for me. I have to be able to turn the paper even sometimes upside down to paint into these details right here and stuff like that, because I am right-handed, and if I was to paint right along this edge here, the paintbrush is actually here. I'll illustrate it real quick for you. If I'm holding a brush, of course you can see that the fine tip or the bristles are facing this way, so I would have to do something like this, and I don't have the same control that I would if I simply just did this. So that's another reason why the Inktober pieces are going to be smaller. And this one here is a lot smaller than what I'll be working on, because this is the exact size right here. Yep, that's the exact size that I'll be using right there. So those are the things that I'm thinking about. Those are the reasons why I use certain setups for different things, and yeah, you get a little insight on that. USA. So this is no different than what I did last year. Last year I prepped all of my pages, and I did the sketches before the challenge. And then when it came time to do the challenge, it was very easy. I would just pull out a piece of paper. It already had the sketch, or sometimes it did not, and I did the sketch on the fly. But it was ready. It was ready to go, and it was a lot easier for me because the pacing of the challenge is what really gets people. That's why they do half marathons. That's why they do quarter marathons, or some people just do one and give up. And I think that a lot of it has to do with preparation. So you have a month to get ready for this challenge. Yeah, use that time wisely, Use that time wisely. So what I do is I get everything ready so that when I upload, everything will be semi-automatic. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just like, all right, day 1 upload, day 2 upload, day 3, and so on and so forth. So I think that let me zoom out a little bit. I think that being prepared as much as possible will help you out. It'll help you get past the pacing issue. Thanks for the like. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it, and that's why I love this challenge. And I feel that every year, if I could challenge myself in a different way when it comes to Inktober, then I'm happy. Yep. All right. There we go. This reminds me of my buddy Andrew, where he said, I watched you sand something for an hour. I was working on some props for MegaCon, and he said he sat there and watched me sand a prop for an hour. So don't worry, there will not be an hour of me cutting paper. That would be bad. It's like, really? I tuned in to this? So yeah, again, if you're thinking of doing the challenge, let me know your concerns. You know, leave some comments or talk about it in the chat, and we can discuss those things. And I know it could be difficult, or it could be kind of scary. What's that? What's that? Nope, only 30. Only 30 minutes of cutting paper. Alright, so there you have it. I have everything I need and a little extra. So let's see. What I'll do is, alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how much I want to show. But we'll start with the first one. Alright, so this is the first piece for 2018 Inktober. Try to get a good beat on that. Alright, there we go. So this is a character that's been kind of evolving, and the origins of this character actually started on a sticky note. It's a sticky note that I keep here at my desk. One day I was just kind of doodling, and I thought it was kind of funny to do some kind of creature, either a cat or a bunny or something, with a skull for a face. So that's the origins of this particular character that I'll be using for this year's Inktober. Then it kind of evolved to different things, and I told my wife, I said, you know, I want a reoccurring character to exist throughout the series. And then I started thinking about what that character would look like, what color would he be, you know, all of the different characteristics that make up this character. And so the second drawing I did was the same thing. This little skeleton or skull that's wearing a Pikachu pajama or suit, some kind of Pikachu suit, and I thought it was neat. I thought it was kind of cute. It really fits my art style, because if anyone is familiar with the things that I draw, I like to mix horror with comedy and, you know, can't speak. I like satire, you know, I like just sarcastic things. And if you guys remember if you remember, actually, oh man, it's been a year now. I did an art challenge on my YouTube channel that dealt with drawing tiny things. So this is a face hugger from the movie Aliens, and it's trying to get into this guy's spacesuit, and there's a little heart that's you know, basically he's in love with him, and the guy is spelling out help on his little display here. So this is, you know, this is the kind of artwork that I like to create, just real sarcastic, funny, horror monsters and stuff like that. So yeah, this little guy came out, and I said, oh man, this is really cool. This is exactly what I want. And maybe, you know, maybe do some art pieces where the skull stays the same, but the outfits are different. So that's kind of the idea. So, oh, let me see. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, exactly. It's a lot like BioShock and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like this particular style. I like doing stuff like this. So, of course, I started playing around even more, and I did another piece that's here on my desk, and that was it. That was it. This is the birth of the character that I want to use for this year's Inktober. So I just figured a little skeleton inside of a bunny suit, minus the band-aids, and minus the band-aids, and you have this little character right here. So the the story that I'm thinking of doing is going to revolve around this particular character here. He's a bit of a, I guess, woodland creature, and going with prompt number one, he's eating poisonous apples. Poisonous apples, and that's how the story starts. And then it keeps moving along, it keeps evolving, and we move on to Tranquil, which is the second prompt in the challenge. And here's our little character, and he's got a full belly. He's eaten so many of these apples, and he kind of sits down on the ground and falls asleep. Basically, he falls asleep. It's rather difficult explaining things without giving anything away, but you could tell right away that I'm staying consistent, and that's something that I'm gonna have to really think about while I'm doing the challenge. This is day 3, and the prompt is roasted. So there he is. There's our little guy, and he's eating lots of roasted items. So as you can see, this is the way I'm preparing for the art challenge. I'm basically sketching everything out, and I have all of these pages ready to go. So based on the prompts, based on the prompts that I'm given, I'll be creating all the different kinds of artwork. So yeah, there you have it. The first three prompts. The first 3 prompts. I think that's all I'm going to give you for tonight. So I'll let that sit there for a couple of minutes. You can study it. But right away, you can see where I'm adding the lighting details and staying consistent. There's a few things that I have to keep an eye on. But yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's a really cool idea. I got the idea from Casey, and she did something similar to that, but she didn't show anything. She actually created the story as she went along, which I thought was amazing. So yeah, there you have it. The first three pieces of Inktober. I have a long way to go. But all the pages are ready for me, and I'll spend the rest of the weekend sketching up everything. So I want to say 15 of them done. I think I got that many done. Yeah, I got that many done. So it's gonna be really cool, and you get to see this guy, and you'll know his name and all of that good stuff. All of that good stuff. So there it is. Preparation for Inktober. Preparation for Inktober. So yeah, quite a stretch. I mean, you can see the development happening. So from a little sticky doodle that I did just messing around here on my desk, waiting for something to dry to an actual story. So we'll see how it goes. Um, like I said, I'm excited. I'm ready to have a lot of fun with this challenge. I've been kind of waiting all year, really. I've been waiting all year to get to this point, and now that we're here, I'm really excited, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes from there. So, but yeah, there it is. I will post links to everything. Um, Actually, yeah, let me do that now. Let me find the link to Inktober and then put that in the chat for you guys. So let me do that. And like I said, I'm hoping that this list does not change, because if it does, then I'm in big trouble. And maybe perhaps I'll just ignore it all and have my own story anyways. So there's the link to Inktober, but I don't know. And then here is the... So that's Jake's website where he posts up the prompt list on October 1st, and that's also the link to Twitter, and that's where I found the list. And if you want, I guess, I don't know, I think that's it. That's pretty much it. Like I said, that's everything. We talked about the challenges that could happen with the art challenge. I covered the paper that I'll be using, all the materials, the story that's coming up. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to start working on these because I like the idea. I'm still staying within my style, and I think it's going to be good. I think you guys would appreciate the kind of work that I'm going to put into it. So there you have it. That is this week's live stream. I want to say thank you to all of our new subscribers. I want to say thank you for all the likes, the comments, and all the love and support that you guys give me on a weekly basis. It is truly amazing, and for an artist like me, it means a lot. It really does. It really means a lot. So I will now say goodbye, but before I do, if you have anything that you want me to kind of promote or show in my channel, make sure that you leave me a comment or message me either on Instagram or somewhere in your favorite social media site. You can contact me and say, hey man, it'd be really cool if you can, post something on the back wall or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so with that, I will say good night. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and you keep drawing, you keep creating, and you're inspired, and everything starts working out the way that you want it to. But I can tell you from experience, after being an artist for the past 30 some odd years, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work, and that's how you get results. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the streams. So yeah, I guess we missed Leanne and Trace. I don't know where they are tonight, but we wish them a great weekend. And of course, I already shouted out to him earlier today, but today is my best friend's birthday. So at the end of this live stream, I want to say, RJ, happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I'll see you soon, brother. I'll see you real soon. All right. Lots of love. Yeah, they're probably in Walmart. They're probably in Walmart. I don't know. RJ might get mad because I said his name on YouTube, but I hope not. Anyways, links, descriptions, or links to other videos. I'll put last year's Inktober here so you can kind of get an idea of what that was all about. And with that, we'll see you next week for a brand new project. If there's something that you guys want me to cover, I know that there was a mention about watercolor or watercolor techniques or something like that. But yeah, go ahead and leave comments on that, and I'll read them all, and then we'll work something out for next week's live stream. So we'll see ya. Links, videos, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye bye. Bye.